I'm doing the comparing thing again, and I'm overthinking as opposed to just like looking internally. And I don't really know how it started, but I just, one day, I'm playing like Call of Duty with my boys, bro. Like, I'm doing something very fun, like no stress at all. Well, there's a little bit of stress in that. But I'm playing Call of Duty with my boys, all of a sudden a panic attack, dude. Like, out of nowhere, first time I've really ever experienced that. Had to leave my house, walked out, fresh air, ended up taking like an hour and a half walk. Got back and was just so scared of what just happened to me. I didn't know what that feeling was. I never went through that before. So it stemmed from that. And then I think past that or after that, panic attack, anxiety attack, I just didn't want to feel that again. So I was kind of like psyching myself out. I'd have anxiety about my anxiety. If I felt anxious, I would start getting anxious about getting anxious.
Welcome to the Mike Squires and Friends podcast. I'm your host, Mike Squires. Today I'm joined by my good friend, Doss. Doss is an incredible artist out of Stamford, Connecticut, dropping songs with the likes of Anoyd and Wax, two of my previous podcast guests. Doss and I talk about the struggles he's had with anxiety and what he did to overcome it, along with some things that's helped him through his musical process. You can support the Mike Squires and Friends podcast by subscribing on YouTube or downloading on your preferred podcast platform. I got great news, guys. I finally have some really dope merch. I have a pizza delivery shirt based on my song Crazy with Chris Webby that I'm really excited to release. I'm going to throw the photos of the front and back. I'm wearing one right now. But yeah, it's because, me and Chris have our song represent Connecticut in the 50 States project. And also Connecticut has the best pizza. There's no doubt about that. So if you want to get one, you can get one at lifeismerch.com. And back to the podcast. The Mike Squires and Friends podcast is proudly sponsored by DistroKid. Looking to broaden your musical horizons as an artist? Discover DistroKid. With its smooth and rewarding music distribution platform, DistroKid offers unlimited uploads while ensuring artists retain 100% of their royalties and earnings. Join the community of over 1 million artists who trust DistroKid to distribute their music across major platforms like Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, TikTok, Tidal, and Instagram. Having personally used DistroKid since 2018, I can attest to its superiority amongst distribution services. Collaborating with fellow artists has become effortless, especially with the ability to easily send splits of songs, streamline the creative process. With the DistroKid app, accessing these benefits is now more convenient than ever. Safely sign up or log in with two-factor authentication, upload releases on the fly, monitor your earnings, and withdraw funds from your DistroKid bank. Stay updated on royalties through push notifications, effortlessly share hyperfollow links, manage account details seamlessly, and track streaming stats from Spotify and Apple. Additionally, explore Mixia for professional-grade mastering, DistroVid for music video distribution, and Instant Share for secure file sharing with collaborators, producers, and more. The DistroKid app is available on both iOS and Android. Download today from the Google Play Store or App Store to revolutionize your music career. Visit distrokid.com/VIP/Mike Squires to get 30% off your first year membership. You guys gotta go do it. If you're an artist that's trying to make it in music, you're gonna have to get your music on your platform somehow, so go do it. But with that being said, sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode of Mike Squires and Friends. Today I'm joined by a good friend of mine, an incredible artist, rapper, singer, Drake fan, popcorn lover,
Oh, man.
fitness guru. Doss, welcome to the Mike Squires and Friends podcast.
I appreciate you. Honestly, I need to add some of those things to my resume.
Dude,
I need to add some of those things to my resume, for sure.
Well, dude, we'll get into all of this, but, we've been homies for quite some time now.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to have you on the podcast.
Finally here.
Yeah, let's go, dude.
Been waiting.
And, you're from the same hometown as me, Stamford, Connecticut.
That's right. Big CT guys, Stanford guys, I should say.
Yeah, what was it like growing up for Stanford for you, dude?
I loved Stanford. A lot of diversity taught me a lot. I obviously grew up in sports. That was pretty much my childhood, just sports and friends, being outside. I feel like, we both grew up in that era where, technology was just becoming a thing. And so I was outside, dude, all day, all night. I just wanted to be with my boys, riding a bike, playing sports. I would literally go from my baseball games to the basketball court, while my brother was playing. You know what I mean? I was just outside enjoying myself. And, Stanford was awesome, though. I think we have a great city. There's a lot to do there, a lot of diversity, too.
Yeah, and I think when you play sports, it actually translates into a music career pretty well, especially with some of the self-discipline.
Yeah. I've taken a lot of things from my athletic career that I can tie into my music that has benefited me for sure. And plus, like, when you think about it, like all the celebs and stuff, you know, they always say like, oh, basketball players want to be rappers and rappers want to be basketball players. Like, they kind of tie in together for sure.
Yeah, I think it's a work ethic thing. And I know that you played baseball through college. You were a captain one year too, right?
I was. Yep.
Yeah, so, you know, what was something that you took away from baseball that you kind of carry with you even today?
Like you said, the discipline. Also learning how to lose and move forward.
That's a big one.
Huge in music. I didn't win a lot in sports. I always played team sports. You know, I gathered some accolades like individually, but like I was always like, you know, I want to win a championship. Like my team has to win. So, you know, as good as I was doing, I wanted a win for my squad. You know what I mean? So, like, I didn't win a lot, and I definitely haven't won a lot in music. And it always feels like whether, you know, you are doing things that are benefiting you behind the scenes, like it feels like you take a ton of L's in music all the time. I'm sure you can understand.
Yeah.
And I learned in sports that, like, you're not going to win every day. And, you know, as you go through the levels, you know, I was fortunate to be gifted and a little bit, you know, higher in terms of the level of play when I was growing up. But as I got older and kind of, you know, joined different teams, and especially when I got to college, like, I'm not the best guy anymore. So you have to learn how to, you know, one, adapt, go through the can't think of the word.
The process?
Nope.
Journey?
Nope. Can't think of the word, bro.
Motions?
Nope. You're faced with adversity.
Ooh.
Gotta get through the adversity.
There you go.
Really wanted to use that word. And yeah, just keep moving forward. So that was something that really taught me, you know, a lot throughout my sports and my athletic career that I've taken on to music. You know, you just gotta keep going, bro.
Yeah, and you know, there's a lot of L's that get taken behind the scene in music for sure.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So what keeps you motivated, you know, when, you know, maybe the song doesn't do what you thought or whatever L it might be?
It's the love and the passion of it, I think. You know, like when I was playing baseball, playing basketball, you always feel like there's room for improvement. And that's the same with music. Pretty much for everything that you do, there's always room for improvement. And it's the passion and the love that you have for what you're doing. So, you know, you take an L and you know that you can get a W. You know what I mean? You know that there's a W on the horizon. And it's, you know, it's just a learning process throughout it all. So when you take L's, you know how to move differently the next time, potentially. So, yeah, I'm just, you know, I've always been, you know, somebody who's motivated. And I feel like it's not for me. It was always like, I don't want to do this to prove people wrong, but to prove the people right who have been supporting me and who have been behind me.
No, that's definitely
that's a big thing for me.
That's definitely a good mentality to have. What got you into music in the first place?
I mean, I say it could be many things,
yes.
Right? From growing up, I just loved music. It always just put me in a good mood, especially, you know, playing sports. You're always like, oh, you got to have your pregame playlist, and that was just kind of a thing. But I really want to say it stemmed from an elementary school class where I was forced to write a poem for class, and like, I just had a lot of fun with it, and I did really well. Like, I got a lot of great reception from, like, classmates and also my teacher. Like, this is really well written. And I kind of started writing poems on my own, and then, you know, I started tapping into, like, music. And I just had a love for it, and it was just a lot of fun. And I've always been, like, a creative. So I used to draw some things, but that kind of, like, grabbed my attention.
Yeah.
Being able to write and actually, like, kind of paint pictures with your words. I was like, this is really cool. And then, you know, I started, like, getting into hip-hop, hearing that, because I grew up, my pops was, well, one, he's Italian, so I was hearing a lot of Italian music. Had no idea what they're saying. I still don't. But it was Italian music and country music. And I kind of was introduced to, like, hip-hop and rap, and then, you know, 8 Mile came out, and my mom got me Country Grammar. Nelly, Country Grammar was the first rap CD I've ever had, and the first album that I got. And ever since then, I was like, yeah, I think I want to do this. Whether it's at the time when I decided that, it wasn't, I want to do this as a career. I want to make this, you know, what I do for, you know, income or, you know, as a job. But it was just like, I want to do this because I have fun with it. And it was something other than the sports that kind of kept me busy.
Yeah.
You know?
Do you remember what that first poem you wrote about was?
No clue. No clue.
But the kids were hyping it up, dude. They were like, yo, that shit is
The classmates
hard.
loved it. Like, the classmates loved it. They were all like, wow. I mean, I'm probably in second grade, so whatever was cool back then to say. But classmates loved it. You know, like, I'm getting claps and applauses. And, again, the teacher kind of pulled me aside. And I was just like, that was really well written. And, you know, it's always nice to get that feedback, you know, that kind of reassurance that, like, what you did, the work you put in, like, it was rewarding. So.
Yeah. At what point are you recording your first song? And how did you end up recording your first song?
So I had a group of friends, and we were always at this one house, whether we were having a party there, whether we were just hanging out. It was just kind of the spot. Every weekend we knew we're going to this house. And a friend of mine, a little bit older, who you actually know, Ansky.
Okay.
Talking about my guy Ansky. So he was a producer. He was starting to make beats, and he had, you know, a little kind of like studio. It was like a desktop mic kind of thing, you know, old school vibe. And they started, you know, making beats and like rapping over it for fun. And we weren't old enough to like get into clubs and bars. So if there wasn't like a house party, we were just chilling, having fun. You know what I mean? So, yeah, they were, you know, recording stuff, and I'm just kind of sitting there like in the background, and nobody really knows that I make music. I really kept it to myself.
You're like that dude in the corner, like you ever seen that party meme where it's like the dude in the corner and he's like, they don't know that I rap.
That was me. And I was just around. I was going to be there no matter what. But like, you know, I'm vibing with the beats and stuff, and like I'm writing in my head.
Yeah.
And they were older than me, so like, you know, they're like 3 years older. So like, you're that younger kid, you kind of like have a little bit of, you know, you're a little nervous, you're a little shy maybe, although they were great friends. But like when it came to something like that, I haven't really put my music out there yet. I haven't really, you know, put my rhymes out there yet. So like, it took a little bit of courage to build up. And I was just like, yo, you guys mind if like, you know, I put a verse on this beat? They were like, yeah, for sure. So, you know, I wrote it, and probably took me, I don't really remember, but it was no longer than like an hour, put the verse on, and same reaction from the poem. Like, they were like, yo, like, where the fuck did this come from? Like, you know what I mean? And I was like, I've been, you know, writing, just never really said anything. So that was the first recording. It was in Aunt Scat's basement. Shout out to his mom, Amy Scat. She put up with so much. She's an angel. But we were blasting music, dude, till like 1 a.m. So that was my first year recording.
Yeah, and at what point do you realize that you want to pursue this at like a higher level and, you know, make a career out of it and like bring it to the next level?
Yeah, it wasn't until like college, once my baseball career started to, you know, come to an end. I think I needed something to substitute that. And I also, you know, growing up, I had this dream of playing for the Yankees and being Derek Jeter, and like I wanted to be a professional athlete. So once, you know, you get hit in the face with reality and like, yeah, it's probably not gonna happen. I was like, all right, well, I still, you know, I have this music thing that I love, and I'm starting to put songs out now at this point, and people are, again, giving me great feedback, and they're loving what I'm putting out. So, you know, I felt like it was a real thing. I felt like I could actually, you know, make something out of it. And that was, I would say, probably my junior year of college was when I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try to take music a little serious. And then I didn't really dive into it until, you know, college baseball was done, because I was locked in when it came to, you know, the athletics. So yeah, I would say right around college.
What was the first song that you got like a big reaction to from, you know, just
you know it, Roughneck.
Let's go, dude.
Roughneck.
Yeah, I do remember Roughneck, dude.
Roughneck.
I mean, that video too, dude.
Oh, the video was epic.
Can we talk about the process of, one, making that song, two, doing the video, and then three, it coming out and the reaction it got?
Of course, yeah. So me and Jimmy Bad, we knew of each other, kind of, and we had mutual friends, but we didn't really, you know, chop it up. We didn't really spend time together. So he came up to Southern one day, and he was there visiting, came to my house. And we kind of talked about, yo, let's dive into some music together. Like, we both, you know, have, you know, he had a buzz. Jimmy was killing, you know, he had the town on lock at one point. But, you know, people were starting to recognize my name and stuff like that. So he was like, yo, I love what you do. Let's create something. So Kitty also, shout out Kitty. I obviously is a big artist in Stamford as well. So we kind of just linked up one day and made the Roughneck song. And then the process of the video, Jimmy was just like, yo, my parents are away, or my mom's away. I'm going to throw a party, and we're going to shoot the video. And we shot it. Like, some of those scenes, like, the camera was in my hand. Some of the scenes, like, Kitty had the camera. Some of the scenes Jimmy did. We were kind of asking people if there's any shots of us three. Somebody that was at the party was just filming it, and we kind of put it together. So we didn't really have any type of, like, camera team. There was no budget, anything like that. And it was cool because so many people were in that video. So when it came out, everybody's like, yo, look at me, I'm in this video. And that was, like, a really good play. So everybody wanted to see it, but it was also just, like, a great party. So it was easy to remember that night, and then we documented it. Everybody was like, dude, this is epic. We dropped it, and not only the song, but the video, like, great reaction everywhere. And then that was the first time I started seeing, like, real views. And by real views, to me, that was, like, 5,000 at the time. So I think it's at, like, around, like, 37,000 now on YouTube. And we didn't promote it at all. No type of marketing behind it. We just kind of put it out and let the city run with it.
But to me, like, when I hear about you guys just shooting the video by yourself, like, to me, that's like making it happen at all costs. You know what I mean? Where it's like, you don't need this big camera team. And even like, I actually had some of these thoughts on the way here today where it's like, some of my biggest projects I've worked on personally, it was like a cheap mix. It was like, we spent no time doing the thing. And it's like, to me, like, now I work very hard to, like, make sure everything's, like, polished for the most part and, like, really nice. But, like, I think there's a lot of value in just, like, the not overthinking the, like, you guys had so much fun with that record and it shows. And, that's what people gravitate towards versus, like, making sure it's, like, absolutely perfect.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, you can see with all artists, as people are starting to open up, as the internet becomes a thing, like, people are really sharing their processes. And everybody says, when you're having fun with it is when you create your best stuff, right? And that's literally all we did. And like you said, there is value in kind of us, you know what I'm saying? Just putting it together because we had the vision and we executed it, And yeah, man, it was a blast. I look back at that video and I'm just like, me and Jimmy shot a scene like in his, like, he has like one bathroom in his house that's like really nice, you know what I'm saying? It's like just a super, like, it looks very luxury, his bathroom. We're like, yo, this is a dope scene. And like me and him are on like I'm in like a white button down, a polo backwards hat with like a chin strap. I look back and I'm like, oh my God, like, why did we shoot this scene? Or this, like, you know what I mean? But like, we had so much fun. Like, I was not thinking that then. Yeah. We were just like having a blast with it. And like you said, it showed and people gravitated towards that.
Bro, and what was good with the chin strap? Because I had a chin strap too. Dude. Like, there was an era where I feel like everyone had the chin strap. Why did we have that? I look back and it's like, what is...
Looks like a terrible look.
Yeah.
But also, I was just growing facial hair and it was like, finally, once you get that chin strap to connect, you feel like you've leveled up. Now it's time to grow the rest of the beard in. So for me, I was just one day hoping like I just woke up with a full beard. Yeah. Obviously, it wouldn't happen that way. But like I had the chin strap and I was holding on to the chin strap like, yeah, this is going to turn into a beard like overnight. And, I ran with the strap for a little bit.
Dog, yeah, I look at some old photos, even of myself, I'm like... what was going on? But I think you're right. It's like, it's an entry beard.
Yeah, it's an entry beard. You know what I mean? You work with the chin strap until like, things start to develop.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I would never, ever go back to a chin strap.
No,
I'll tell
you couldn't
that much.
do that. That'd be crazy, dude.
But you know what? Like at 20 years old, I was just like, it was a thing. It was an era. And it was also just like, I definitely had kids in my like ninth grade class with full beards and I was jealous. Absolutely jealous, but it's just not how it worked out for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I want to pull it to perfection though, dude, because we kind of talked about like, when you're doing something early on in your career, you're like not even so much worried about like it being perfect rather than just like making it and getting it out, Yeah. What do you have to say about perfection overall?
I had to realize the hard way that it's not a thing. You know what I mean? That you can't want or need everything to be perfect because that's when you start to overthink. I'm a big overthinker. So me trying to, chase perfection may have got me to excellence, but I never really obtained perfection, and I just think I have this thing that, like, I say to myself, really, that perfect is fiction. And, it just reminds me that, things aren't going to be perfect. And, for example, that Roughneck video, we look back and how much better this video could have been, but, like, it took a life of its own. And, we did what we could. And it was good enough, So, I think, again, I had to learn the hard way because growing up, I wanted everything to be perfect. I had to be in control of, like, outcomes, you know what I mean? If not, it would stress me out. I would overthink, bring me anxiety, especially when it came to sports, man. I had to be perfect in sports. I put so much time in practicing and just to, again, fall short of my goals or my expectations. And then it would get myself in my own head, and then I'm struggling even more, And, I found that to be a reality with the music as well when I'm overthinking, trying to make everything perfect. And, you just got to do your best and run with that.
Yeah. Now with sports, like, did it feel that the harder that you worked, the better your results would be?
Yes, for sure. I mean, with everything, right? The more work you put in, the obviously, that 10,000 hours rule. But yeah, absolutely. Repetitions is everything, especially in sports. And I think that's what got me to, the level that I got to, maybe that captain space, just being able to play at like a high D2 level of base, things like that. All the levels that I got to, I think, was just because of the hard work that I put in. I wasn't, the best guy out there always, but I was one of the hardest workers, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think I bring it up because I think with music's a tricky one because I think you could be the hardest worker, and I think if you are, you might be more likely to go.
Yeah.
But it's not the only factor with music.
100%.
And the thing, too, with music, it's like kind of going back to the perfection thought, especially no such thing because, music's such an opinionated thing. Like, there's arguably artists that are the best, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it really depends on who you're asking because depending on who you ask, this artist the best, this artist is the best. Where it's like, I think with sports, there's like more stats, that like can argue it. Music, you have streaming numbers and things like that. You got ticket sales, but like, I feel like music, like art just in general is more of just an opinionated thing. So I think the point I'm just trying to get to is like, how do you feel like when you work hard in music versus like sports?
You're right. Music is very opinionated. Perfect example is Drake, right? Big fan. You said it in the intro. And a lot of other people, when I bring him up as like, yo, this is my favorite guy, he stinks. Yeah, I don't like his music. That's fine. You know what I mean? And same thing with us. When we put out our music, somebody may think this is the best song I've ever dropped, and somebody else may play it once and then never go back to it. Very opinionated, which is nice when it comes to music, but also stressful, as like coming from the artist. But in terms of the hard work that you put in with the music, I feel that you create opportunities for yourself by working harder than somebody else, right? It is a repetitions thing, right? Your pen might get sharper the more you write, the more you challenge yourself. But again, with sports, it's repetitions. I'm taking the same swing. Well, not exactly the same swing, but I'm taking swings. I could take 1,000 swings a day, and it's really just kind of like getting that repetition in and knowing that I put that time in and feeling comfortable when I get up to bat or when I'm taking, a ground ball, right? But the music, the harder you're working, the more places you go, the more you put yourself out there, you're kind of putting yourself in front of doors that may open, may not. So, you have to work hard no matter what you're doing, I guess, if you want to see success. I put it in quotations because everybody has their, different definitions and levels of how they determine success internally, externally, whatever. But yeah, I think you just create the opportunities for yourself. When it comes to music, the harder you work,
Yeah. What is success to you?
To me, I think I said internally because like, I think, what is my definition of success? Like, it's not being famous. It's not having 1 million followers on, Instagram, TikTok, whatever the case may be. For me, it's like people resonating with my music, like putting it on when they want to have a good day. They're going to put on one of my feel-good songs. Or if they're going through something that I also went through, for example, like if I'm talking about a relationship, you know what I mean? They're like, oh, I related to this song because I've been through the same thing. Like, that's, when it comes to music, that's like, you know, that's my definition of success, or part of it for me. Not so much, you know, like the fame, the accolades, Grammys and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, what music did for me was, you know, put me in spaces that I wanted to be in or needed to be in when I would listen to the songs. You know, I have specific genres and songs that I'll listen to depending on what I'm doing, whether it's working out, whether I need to pick me up for that day. I wake up and I feel like shit. You know what I mean? There's songs that I'll put on to hype me up. So I think just, you know, people really like sitting with my music and being able to, you know, have that that resonation, I guess. So in terms of music success, yeah, I would say that route. In terms of, in general, I think you have to be happy.
Yeah.
Peace, bro. You have to be at peace with yourself. Like,
that's my definition. Yeah. Just happy. I base all of my success at this point, thankfully, off of my happiness. You know what I mean? Because, and it's maybe a lot easier to say now that, you know, I'm at a place in my life where I'm more comfortable. Yeah. Because, you know, when you're trying to get out and, you know, make yourself financially stable, you know, at that moment, success might look like, you're like, forget my happiness, dog. Like, let me just like get by. You know what I mean? But now I'm in a more comfortable spot. So now I do prioritize the happiness. But I think there was a moment for me, at least, where it's like success is just being not where I'm at right now. Yeah, no, you're always looking for the next thing. And I 100% feel that. And I had a time with my music where I was just perfection, needed to be perfect. And I wasn't finding the happiness in it. And I needed to get back to that place where I was just having fun, being at peace with what I was creating and being at peace with, you know, an L or a win, you know what I mean? But also in my life, you know, I had some anxiety and stuff like that, and I had to get back to my happiness and my peace. And I felt like I was living successfully from the place that I was in to the place that I am now. And yeah, like you said, the financial freedom, I mean, $1 million, you know, will be considered successful to some, but as long as I'm financially free, you know, as long as I can set myself up to be financially free, it's a success for me, you know? Yeah, I want to talk to you about some stuff that we worked on and bring it a little bit, I want to bring it back to an instance. I want to talk about the good part of it, and then I want to like talk about a text that you sent me, dog. Oh, yeah. So I think I know where you're going. Yeah, for sure. So I just had Corey on too, so we talked about this a little bit. But, you know, 2 years ago, I had the opportunity to open for Flo Rida, and I brought out a ton of friends. Yes, you did. You were one of the friends. I was. And, you know. Almost didn't make it. Almost didn't make it. That's what I'm getting to. So like a day before, it might have been a couple days. I think it was a couple days. I think it was a couple days when it started, but it led up to, you know, those days. So I'm running around, scrambling, trying to make this show happen. There's a lot of moving parts. I look at my phone, I get a text from Brandon, and it's like, in short, I don't think I'm going to be able to do this show. Yeah. You're like, my anxiety's getting to me or something. For sure. I want to talk to you about that because I'm sure there are so many artists that deal with the anxiety, the stress, and, you know, for that particular instant, you know, what ended up motivating, we're going to start from that, and we're going to kind of like pull it back. Yeah. But from that moment, what made you decide to end up doing it? I didn't want to let myself down. Definitely didn't want to let you down. You gave me, you know, the great opportunity, and I was just like, you know, I have to follow through with this. But it was more so of letting myself down. You know, it was at a point where I wasn't in a great mental space, not with just music, but just in life. And I was trying to find ways to get back to my peace and to kind of deal with it head on, you know what I mean? And that's what I was realizing. I was looking for like an immediate fix with my anxiety. And like, it's not that, you know, everybody deals with it differently, but for me, it wasn't that. And I wanted an immediate fix because I didn't know what I was dealing with because I never did deal with that before. So I needed to find things long-term that were going to help me deal with this. And that was a situation where I was overthinking. And again, I wasn't in a great mental space, just everywhere. So like it obviously tied into my music. But I'm overthinking a lot, and I really just kind of came to
came to the realization of like, I'm going to regret not doing this. I know I am. And I know if I can get through this, I'll get through a lot more. So it was really proving it to myself to get up there. And I know that I'm capable of it. You know what I mean? It's not, that wasn't the issue. It was just where I was at. And again, overthinking everything. And I just didn't feel comfortable at that time, with choices I was making, I guess. And that was leading to my anxiety. And I was, obviously deciding on this choice. But I'm very glad that I did it because I felt great. I had a blast with everybody. Amazing experience. Probably one of the best experiences musically that I've had. So thank you for sure. But
you're welcome, dude. but yeah, no, it just was a good time for the city too. But I want to bring what do you think made your anxiety start in the first place?
I wish I knew. I don't think I have anything to really pinpoint it, but maybe I was dealing with some, leading up to when I actually noticed it was a problem, and I just didn't kind of face it. I didn't kind of want to accept it. But it was during COVID, and that could be a huge factor right there. I'm an outgoing person. I'm always out doing something. I work with people. So not having that in my life anymore was obviously a huge hit. But I also don't know because, again, I wasn't, struggling. I had a roof over my head. I had food on my plate. And I had parents that, were supporting. And I wasn't in tough situations like other people were. So I was just like, why is this happening to me? I don't really have anything to really worry about. But, I'm doing the comparing thing again, and I'm overthinking as opposed to just like looking internally. And I don't really know how it started, but I just one day I'm playing like Call of Duty with my boys, bro. Like I'm doing something very fun, like no stress at all. Well, there's a little bit of stress in that, but I'm playing Call of Duty with my boys. All of a sudden, a panic attack, dude. Like out of nowhere, first time I've really ever experienced that. Had to leave my house, walked out, fresh air, ended up taking like an hour and a half walk, got back and was just so scared of what just happened to me. I didn't know what that feeling was. I never went through that before. So it stemmed from that. And then I think past that or after that, panic attack, anxiety attack, I just didn't want to feel that again. So I was kind of like psyching myself out. I'd have anxiety about my anxiety. If I felt anxious, I would start getting anxious about being anxious. If that makes sense.
No, it does make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Dude.
So and then
because you just wanted to escape that feeling.
I'd never wanted to feel that again. I wanted to escape that feeling. And again, I didn't feel like I had things to worry about that could be causing this. So it was also stressful that I'm like, I don't know where this is coming from, and I don't know how to deal with it. I attached it to my music because that was really the only thing that was causing me stress. Again, I wanted to be a perfectionist. I was overthinking. But during COVID, there was a lot of online opportunities. And that was a time where kind of everybody had, the space and, no other obligations but to, work on your craft. So I was creating records and I wasn't happy with them. And then the ones that I would put out and wasn't doing as well as I thought it would. So I attached my anxiety to my music. I was like, this has got to be it. Took a break, dude. 6 months, didn't touch it. I would try to go back in there and I'd get anxious. And I was dealing with it, constantly, even when I stopped music. And I just I have to get back to a better place. But I tried to get back because usually that was my happy place, the studio. And it just wasn't at the time. So I took a break. And I'm grateful for that experience because it brought me to approach my music and my craft way differently. And I got back to that, having fun with it and peace. And I don't force it no more. You know what I'm saying? If I feel like I'm forcing, I step away for a little bit. So I still, to this day, I don't know what caused it. Still deal with it every once in a while. It's not as bad. Fortunately, I've found my things that help me. But, sometimes it just comes up and I'm like, for what? No clue.
Yeah, what are some of the things that helped you get out of that mind space and also, get back to having fun with music?
My community, for sure, my people that love me and care about me. I opened up to a lot of people. When I was scared to at first, really my parents and my brother were the people that I opened up to right away. But I was kind of nervous to talk to the people that, I was close with and that cared about me. And I'm glad that I did because, it felt like I had them and like everything was all right. They were also, understanding, even though they didn't understand, because really you're the only person that understands what you're going through at that moment. But I also talked to a bunch of friends that were dealing with it worse than me. And that was eye-opening. And that was, I don't want to say nice to hear because like I was upset that, my friends that I didn't even know about were dealing with it as well. And I know that it was terrifying for me. So it was terrifying to hear that they're going through it, but it also was like, I'm not alone. You know what I mean? You're never alone, but you feel like you are when you're going through that. So really my support system was huge. Being able to talk about it was huge. And then just, again, knowing like the person I am and what I am capable of and that I can get back to finding happiness and peace. Like it's always there, there's always, the highs, there's always the lows. Can't have sunshine without the rain. All those it's a real thing. And, once I started getting back to those highs, the lows this will pass. It's not that bad. And the highs felt so much better also. So, I just knew that wasn't a way that I wanted to keep living, always stressed out about small things and, creating anxiety on myself is what I was really doing. I didn't want to live like that anymore. So I just knew I needed to get out of there, especially if I wanted to continue the music.
And sometimes when you're in those, because trust me, I've been in that mind space before too. And sometimes when you're in it, it's hard to get out of it because you can't really see the light at the end of the tunnel. It's just kind of like a shroud of darkness. And you're just like, and especially being an artist, like, not knowing what the next play is. And, even a year like 2020 where it's like everything that you were like used to living and just how everything was just gone like that. Yeah. You know what I mean? So to have your world flipped upside down, like how everyone's was.
Yeah.
And then also, maybe a loss of direction too, because, when everything gets flipped, like not knowing where to go, it's a tough thing, dude. I know for me personally, like I need direction to know where I'm going. Otherwise I crumble at the seams because if I don't know where I'm going, it just like psychs me out because I don't know what I'm doing.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
it's hard. You're kind of moving. It doesn't, not that you're moving without a purpose, but it almost feels that way.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, so.
Are you a very goal-oriented person?
Definitely. Sports instilled that in me for sure.
Yeah.
I love setting goals, also challenges for myself. So I would definitely say, I'm very goal-oriented, and that keeps me working hard too, for sure, so.
I want to talk to you about some of the records.
That's good water. That's the alkaline.
The alkaline.
pH levels are going up, dude.
Pull
this out the fridge.
We had to come with the quality.
Dude, when you pulled this out the fridge, I said, I need this.
I was like, oh yeah. So before this, I was like, you need a water? He's like, no, I brought my own. And then I like pulled up with this. He's like, actually, let me.
Actually, I was like, the alkaline pH level, 9.5 plus. Don't even really know what that means, but the marketing on this, I wanted the water bottle. That's for sure.
Dude.
I felt like the Superman symbol was going to start showing. Even though I got the S's here, though.
Damn.
Can we talk about the shirt?
Yeah, we can talk about it.
Did you plan on bringing this up?
Yeah, it's on the list.
All right, I'll let you.
Yeah, it's on the list.
Wait for it.
We'll go in order of like things that we worked on. So
we'll wait for it.
One of the first things we worked on was, did we work on Flame first or the For Life music video?
For Life music video.
We're gonna talk about the For Life music video, dude.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
So the For Life music video was a music video that we shot together. Jay DeLise is on the song, correct?
Yeah, Jay DeLise is on it.
One location we shot at was like this studio with a white backdrop.
Dope. We had the paint on the skull. I love that.
Yeah, that's not the location I want to talk to you about today, dude.
Oh man! All right, let's talk about the pool then.
Yeah, that's where we're going.
The pool party
we talked about this briefly before. Well, I kind of indicated that I was going to bring up a memory that I stored so deep. I haven't thought about this in so long.
I knew exactly what he was talking about too. As soon as he brought it up before the pod, I was like, all right, we're gonna wait and talk about this on air.
So I'm going to tell you my perspective, and then you can course correct me on your perspective, although I think they might be aligned. So you have a homie that has a pool. We need a pool for location because we were just like, it was the vibe. It was like a summery song,
yeah,
right?
For sure.
There's the girl that you got for the video too there.
Yeah.
So it's just really a small crew, just you, me, her,
Delise, and then he had a couple friends over.
Delise was here for this too.
Delise was there.
Did he experience what I'm about to bring up with us?
I think so.
Insane, dog.
If he didn't, maybe he sees this and is like, yo,
I hope he doesn't
that
associate
too,
me with this memory.
That's how, all right, go ahead. Go ahead.
So, as we're shooting this video, we get our scenes. I would say we're pretty much wrapped at this point. We're getting towards the end of it.
Towards it.
Is this like the homeowner?
It wasn't the homeowner. And I'm trying to remember exactly who it was. Definitely wasn't the homeowner, though, but we'll continue. Let's continue.
There's a random dude on our set. He strips down naked, ding-a-ling out, flying in the winds.
Ding-a-ling.
Dog, I'm just like,
vocab. Go ahead.
I'm just there like trying to shoot a video. I feel uncomfortable now because I'm sure the girl there is uncomfortable.
Super uncomfortable. And that's when you said the associated part. I was waiting to get to this because I knew him, but not a close friend. You know what I mean? Just a friend that used to be around. I was like, dude, I hope this girl doesn't associate me with this dude. You know what I mean? Because he's at like our video shoot that I brought her to.
He must have been off a bean or something, dude.
Oh, he was off something. He was either like just super drunk or I don't know what kind of drugs dudes were doing then. I'd never been into drugs, so I don't know what he was on, but yeah, bro, it was super
I feel like we were all
uncomfortable.
equally traumatized
Absolutely.
in that moment, dude.
And again, I know him, so like I know he gets drunk and messed up and like does shit weird, but not that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn, I got, Squires here. And that was the first video we really worked on together.
Yeah, this was like our first like...
Yeah, we were cool, but like, we were kind of just like business.
Yeah,
we were
getting stuff done.
Yeah, getting things done at the time. And I'm like, damn, bro, this dude strips naked, jumps in the pool, like while we're in the pool, pretty much shooting the scene. I'm like, yo,
no, dude.
I hope his ass doesn't get put in this.
Oh, man.
I was just like, and plus on top of it, like, I got this girl here that, I'm obviously, we were cool, but I'm trying to make her comfortable as well.
Vibes. This is a crazy situation for a lot of acquaintances.
Yeah, like, and then there's a couple dudes like sitting at the table where he was at, and I'm like, yo, did y'all not like try to stop him and tell him that this is not a good idea? I think it just happened so fast, and probably
it was
everybody
so
there.
Quick. We were all like caught off. We were just like,
I think
what?
he had one of like, when you pull it off and it snaps. I think he just was ready for the video or something with a snap off and like thought it'd be a good idea. Like maybe he was trying to get his cameo.
That's the craziest thing.
Know.
Thinking it was a good idea is
I gotta talk to my boy Chan. So shout out Chan because he was the one that let us use the house. My guy still to this day, but I gotta talk to Chan and see if he remembers who that was.
Yeah,
I'm trying to put it in, but I do remember this happening, and I was just like, bro, what the fuck? I had to talk with him after.
You just sit him down and be like, yo, man, like, I get it, you're having a good time, but like,
no, it wasn't like
cool.
that. I was like, dude, what the fuck is wrong with you, bro? Like, I'm shooting a vid, like,
you're waiting. Yeah, I would have been
like,
that nice. I would be like, yo, what's going on?
Nah, I wasn't nice because you can't be nice in that shit. Like, bro, that could have ended the video. Like my camera guy could have been like, yo, I'm out of here.
That's
the
true.
The girl
That's
could have
true.
been like, I don't want to be around this dude you know what I mean?
Thankfully, I've dealt with some weird things on video shoots where I'm just like, all right,
true.
This is today's.
Where does that rank in like?
That's probably got to be. It's got to be top 5.
All right, I was about to say if I cracked the top 10.
Yeah, you're top 5.
Right,
it's top 5. Like just because it was like. You weren't expecting it, you know what I mean? Like,
was.
It was like if you paused the moment prior to that and gave me like a multiple choice, or it's like what happens next. Yeah. It's like starts raining, dude strips naked to my right. Yo. Like you know what I mean? I probably would have been like, oh, maybe it starts raining.
Yeah, it starts raining.
you know?
For sure. No, that was that was an experience. That's a great story for us to.
Yeah, I was thinking about it last
night.
night. I was like scrolling through and I was like, oh yeah, that totally did happen. I blacked it out, but that did happen.
Man, what an idiot.
I'm going to pull it back to another song we worked on. I'm going to pull it back to Flame first.
Yeah, man.
So Flame is a good one.
Love it.
We cooked that up. Or we did it at my mom's house?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because I remember 2018?
I believe so. It came out in 2019. So it probably was like 6 months after that we actually cooked it up, I believe, and we kind of like, put it out there.
What was the inspo for that record?
You in a sense, really. I mean, like not you in general.
That
like I didn't write.
Dog?
Yeah, and now people are gonna be like, "Wow, you wrote that song about Squires."
They're gonna like listen.
Weird. Yeah.
You got my fire.
Yeah, right. Nah, well, I mean, you kind of it was the beat that really inspired me, and it was summertime. So I was looking for that kind of record, but I was rapping a lot. That was like what I came up on, and that was like where things felt comfortable and like easy for me in a sense. So like most people would also send me like rap beats, and you played that like pop, feel good kind of beat, and like that inspired me to go with that kind of vibe for the record. And I remember, I think I wrote some of it at your house that day. I just didn't know what it was going to be. And the beat was also not finished, but I wrote over what we had. And then like when it got put together, I was like, dude, this is special. I know you felt the same. So it was just in the moment, really. The inspiration was just in the moment. Once you cooked that beat up, I was like, dude, this is fire. Yeah. And then, I mean, it's probably one of my most popular songs to this day that I've done by myself. That's probably the one that people, I don't want to say associate with me, because a lot of people have their favorites, but like that was the best performing record after Roughneck.
Yeah.
But the one that I've done by myself, people loved Flame, dude. Loved it.
Yeah, I remember when we did the show recently, like people were singing that one, dude.
Yeah, at the mall. Yeah, that's the one. That's the one that like people will rock with. That's the one I could pull out the bag and know that like the crowd's gonna rock with me. They love that one, and I do too. I still like that's still like a very, very special song to me. Yo, I like that one. I still got. You remember when you were in the studio, the little plaque?
The little plaque, dude.
Yeah, one of my girls made me at the time. Yeah, made me the plaque. I still got that in the studio. Like that one's Flame. No pun.
Hey, what's one of the biggest lessons you've taken away from music?
I could probably revert back to like the L and keep moving forward, but I think instead of that one, let's go with enjoying what you do. You have to enjoy what you do, and I learned that through the music, and we could tie that back into like when I kind of lost my happiness through my mental health journey. When I approached it in a different way, and I got back to like I'm just gonna make what feels good. You know what I'm saying? At the moment, I'm just gonna vibe out. Like we're just gonna ride these waves. And I started to love music even more than I did originally, which I didn't think was possible because when I first started, I would spend nights in the studio. All my boys would be going out, and I'd stay in the studio all night. They'd come back for like their after party. And I'd still be in the studio, and I was just like, that was a time where like I was so locked in. I didn't think I could like music more than I did at that point in time. But once I reapproached it, and is that a word, reapproach?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right, cool. I don't know why it felt weird coming out, but pause. No Diddy? Can we say that on here?
We can.
I guess. When I reapproached it and started to enjoy it, like I really thoroughly enjoyed what I was making, enjoyed the process, enjoyed the people I was meeting. Dude, everything changed. And like I started to realize that like with work too, you know what I mean? Like didn't like my job at the time, and I'm like, this makes everything it coincides. If you're not feeling good and you're not enjoying what you're doing at work, if you're not enjoying the music, if you're not like it's gonna bring you down one place or the other. And you know what I mean? Like a bad day at work might be a bad writing day in the studio, you know what I mean? Or a bad creative space. So like you really have to enjoy what you do, and I'm huge on like whatever somebody needs to do to find their peace, so be it. That could be a gardener, or it could be a musician, or it could be driving kids to school. Dude, if you're happy and enjoying what you do, then, I think you won,
I've always said this about music, but if you're not laughing, you're crying, dude, because it's a tough industry because, you're spending mad money on something that might not do what you think it might. There's just so many things are just constantly going wrong. It's just like I think part of like having a music career is also just problem solving and just trying to figure out logistics.
That's
because
for sure.
The thing about being an artist is that what might work for one person might not work for another. There is no like clean, clear-cut direction of being an artist, because if there was, there'd be way more people doing it. Yeah. You know what I mean?
No, 100%.
And one thing I want to talk to you about too that's kind of in that, because part of the game right now is content, right?
It's huge.
And I know we relate to this in this sentiment where it's like we make content but the type of content that we have go off for us isn't always aligned with what we're trying to do. Yep. So you've had a couple of viral videos, but they've been like bartending videos.
Yeah, I did the bartending skits, and I was just getting used to TikTok, and I was like, yo, this app is a lot of fun. Like, I was just having fun editing videos, and like, I have like stupid funny ideas, well, that I think are funny for the most part. And I was just like, yo, I'm gonna create this stuff. Like, again, ever since I was little, I just like to be creative. So, I'm like getting inspiration on the app, but also like diving into like how you can edit videos and stuff. And I was just like, yo, I'm having fun with this. So I made a bartending skit. I'm a bartender. And I was like, these are some of the worst things to deal with. Kind of like, if the shoe fits, wear it to some of my customers, but also like, this is funny and I know people can relate to this, and other bartenders that I, either worked with or that, maybe on this platform that would be like, and there was a shit ton of bar. I'm not saying like I set the tone. There's so much bartending stuff. So like, more inspiration, but I was just like, I'm gonna put out what I deal with and see if I can make a funny video for like what I'm dealing with at my spots. And first one, it did well. Like people, like local people were laughing at it. Like, damn, I'm this customer, aren't I? And I'm just like, I'm putting like shoe emojis, like, you know what I mean? And then I put the second one out. I did like a part 2 because I was like, this one like it was one of the better reactions I've gotten from a video on that platform. And I put the second one out, and I swear like forgot about it. I was doing whatever I had to do that day, busy. A couple hours go by, go back to my TikTok, and I just see like the 99 plus, right? I think it just 99 plus. It doesn't show you like 1,244 followers. Like, it doesn't show you that. It just says 99 plus. I'm like, oh shit. So I look, and I'm looking at my numbers, and I'm like, I got 20,000 followers. I'm like, what the hell? So I go to the video, and it's at like, I don't know what it was at, 100,000 or something. I'm like, holy shit, like this video is going crazy. And I didn't expect it to do what it did. It ended up at like 6.8 million views, like 1 million likes. And I'm also getting shitted on in the comments too. Like, do your fucking job, all this stuff. But like a lot of people, for a majority, loved it. And most of the people can tell like I'm being very sarcastic. But video went crazy, bro. Crazy. And I probably gained 40,000 followers from that like one video. And all my bartending skits go nuts. And my music, flop. Belly flop, like that dude jumping in the pool.
Dude.
Big flops, bro.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Big flops.
You know what's crazy? Just going real back to, like, the dude in the pool real fast. Look what I wrote for, like, my talking point.
Shmeat. Wow. Shmeat. All right.
Yeah, I didn't want to write what it was. Yeah.
I love it. Shmeat.
Yeah, because that's, like, how I remember that moment. It's just this fucking Shmeat.
Shmeat. What a Shmeat head.
Yeah. Where were we just? I got distracted.
Talking about the bartending video.
Yeah, TikTok.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you briefly mentioned, though, there were some people talking smack in the comments, dude.
Yeah, always.
How do you deal with, doubters, haters, naysayers?
You gotta, like you said, if you ain't laughing, you cry. Like, you gotta laugh at it sometimes, because people are really going out of their way to give their opinion, to try to bring you down. To me, it's corny, but like, everybody has their opinion, and that's fine. Like we said earlier in the pod, like, music is opinionated, and so are all these videos. Like, you could laugh at it, and you could like skip it and never want to look at it again. But like, how can you take it serious? You know what I mean? Or you should try not to, I should say, because I've definitely been affected by some comments before. So I'm not gonna act like I just brush everything off. But like, I've gotten to the point now where like, it's expected, and like, it's gonna happen no matter what. And the bigger you get, I feel like the more hate and doubters and naysayers you're gonna get. So like, the people that, for example, that video, it was more so people like, you're such an asshole, you would never get tipped. And I'm like, I obviously don't act like this.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Like,
so
you missed
like,
the joke.
That's something like, if it was something, music related, like, yo, this is the worst thing I've ever heard, like, that sucks, because you put a lot of time and effort into that, and like, you obviously want to get, your good reactions. But like with the bartending one, dude, it's like
whatever.
Like, people are not either catching on to the jokes, or they just want to be assholes, and like, you could you be an asshole. It doesn't matter to me. So like, deal with them, like just like another obstacle or like a roadblock. Like, you know what I'm saying? I got to get over this bump to keep going forward. So like,
Anytime you put yourself out there, though, like, you're just asking for the piranhas. Like, you're throwing yourself in the tank.
Trust me, when I made those videos, dude, I knew, like, what could come of it. And again, I didn't expect it to get 6 million views also, though. So, I don't care.
But it's like, some of the comments you receive on just, like, because I know I get, like, hate comments, but it's like, only in, like, a profession where you put yourself out there is this happen. Like,
yeah, exactly.
You don't see people going into their mailman like, yo, you fucking suck, dog.
Yo, dude.
The dude at the grocery store.
The letter was like, upside down, dude. What are you doing? Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, but that's the thing. Like, if you're going to be in music or any position where you're going to put yourself out there, you got to have some thick skin because it's just part of the game. And I've probably said this on the pod before, but it's helped me tremendously when dealing with haters.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Because my homie Atlas told me once, he's like, when people are hating and they're like new to your, like, it's kind of a good thing because that's the algorithm showing your stuff to new people. Mm-hmm. And not every single person is going to like your stuff, but you should just be thankful that you're at least getting in front of a new audience because some people can't even crack that algorithm.
Yeah,
you know
100%.
what I mean?
And I swear I've seen haters turn into supporters, though, too.
Oh, so I had this conversation, too, with somebody.
Yep. So haters have turned into supporters. I've seen it. I've heard you talking shit, you know what I'm saying?
Because they're passionate about it. Regardless of if you're hating or love, like, you have some sort of passion that, like,
if you took your time out of your day to comment on this video for a dude that you don't know just to share, you are passionate, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're obviously trying to prove something here, whether it's to me or to yourself, I don't know. But yeah, you're passionate about it. But again, like, I firsthand, I've seen haters turn to supporters. So I'm like, that's another thing that helps me. Like, when I read a comment, it's just like, all right,
can you
whatever.
share that instance?
I mean, I can't remember like one specifically, but like, I mean, I
can
remember
a DM
one,
or something.
I can remember one specifically where like somebody was talking shit, what I heard, oh yeah, he's trying to do this music thing, like he's really not great, and like a year or two later, like, you're posting me on your story how much you like this new record of mine, and I'm just like, all right, well then I did something right, you know what I mean? And like, again, I'm okay with people not loving the stuff that I'm putting out right away. I might make a song that you hate, and might make a song that you love. But you love one of my songs, and that's fine with me. You know what I mean? So that's another thing that we can go back to the comments, like seeing haters turn supporters, and like, I'm gonna just look at it like whatever.
Yeah, I want to talk to you about a studio session we had together. The original studio session for Some Love. One, absolutely, dude, I love that song. But do you remember Obi's recording his verse?
Yes, I do.
Bro.
It was great.
But so, you remember how his verse came to be?
Yeah.
Okay. You want to tell the story?
I'll tell it.
Yeah.
So we were all in there, and you actually, I remember something that you kind of put me onto in a sense, or you challenged me, which is, I mean, we go back and forth a lot, on our music stuff, and you always challenge me, and I really do appreciate that. But you challenged me to, just get in there and freestyle and kind of like, just see what comes out of it. And I'm usually somebody, it's like, I'm very, there you go.
No, I know what you're saying. Like, you, not particular.
I'm intentional.
Yeah,
I'm intentional with what I'm writing. And I'm like, at that time, I never really kind of went in and freestyle. I would just have the beat and start, writing, what I felt went together and whatever. So we were all going in there and freestyling takes, and I was hesitant at first. I actually got some good stuff out of it, but Obese went in there to do the same thing. And I think we're all bullshitting outside of the studio, and Obese is in there, and he's singing his verse, he's freestyling, and he messed up. And we didn't know that he messed up because we're all bullshitting. All we hear faint in the background is, somebody running this back. He was trying to tell us to like, yo, come on, run back the take. I need to record again. And he like made it into a flow. And when you heard it, a light bulb went off, and you were like, dude, I need this. And I remember Obese being like, nah, this is not my verse, bro. He was like, nah, this ain't my verse. And you were like, dude, it's your verse. Like, it has to be your verse. And shout out OB, man. He took one. Yeah. I took one for the team because it was fire. It really was fire. Bro. He knew it, but he's a writer. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, OB's really, he's a tough lyricist. He's really a writer. So he's like, dude, this is so basic. I don't really want to put this, but it worked, bro. It worked, and it fit really well. But it was hilarious because he must have said that 5 times before anybody noticed it.
Dude.
Right?
Oh, yeah. There's like a long take of him just doing it. And when I heard it, I just remember looking at him and I was like, oh, yeah. And he was like, no, dude, no. He's like, we can't do this. And I was like, dude, you don't understand. This is the part that like everyone gets hype of. This is like if you got a $10 bill, put your, like, you know what I mean? This is that part.
That was also like, kind of immediately, it was just like, yo, this could be the TikTok trend too.
Yeah,
run this
dude,
back.
And dude, I actually had a couple of videos that did decent with that part. But it's also the part when I do it, you know, live. I'm like, yo, everyone repeat after me. Somebody run this back. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like
it worked.
But yeah, no, and I remember, so we ended up, because the first session really was just like a mumble take. You know what I mean? So there's a version of Some Love out there that's like pretty much pure mumbles of the entire song.
I don't know if you remember, recently I came across a Snap memory and I had like a completely different hook. Like before anybody had anything that stuck, I had a hook and I was like, I love this. And then Kitty went in and kind of did that and you were like, this is the hook. And I was like, damn, like I really thought I had one. And then like it came together and it's just a perfect record.
I feel like I remember looking at Kitty like a psychopath. Like I was like chopping together his mumbles and I'm just like staring at him and he's just like looking back at me. He was just like,
I don't know. He was like, I don't know.
Dude, I love that song. So to end the OB's part, I ended up everyone kind of came in and ended up retracking their part at like different times after we had that initial session to like get their final vocals in. And I retracked OB's and he came with like a girl that he was hanging out with. And he was recording it, and she's like, "Oh," she was clowning him. she's like, "That's your part." And he's like, "Yo, you gotta like."
I know that made it worse. For him,
it made it so much worse. And I was like, I had to like, I went to her. I was like, "No, you don't understand. This is the best part of the song. Like, you gotta trust me on this one."
Yeah, this has to be it.
Yeah, but no, it's like one of my favorite songs, and that like song, I also very much associate that song with kind of the Flo Rida era too, because they came out the same weekend.
Yeah, so that was huge. I got a question.
What's up?
Has anybody ever took an intermission break to pee on this podcast?
Webby has.
All right, cool.
You want to do it?
Yep.
All right, let's do it.
I was about to say, I'm about to set a trend real quick. Man, that coffee ruined me.
Welcome back, dude.
Wait, I said ruined me as in like I just needed to pee. Let me clarify that because I said that coffee ruined me and you know what people are going to think. I had to pee. Little intermission break, and I thought I was going to be the first one, but you said Webby?
Yeah,
At least
Webby.
I'm following great footsteps there.
Yeah, he just actually texted me 2 seconds ago. He was like, yo, he's watching the pod I just did with him.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, you know what I mean? He's checking it out.
Didn't you say that? What was it, like, is 3 hours of pod?
Oh, it's 3.5 hours.
I'm going to actually have to go to the movies, get some popcorn, and
Bro,
come back
it's
and
really
watch
good,
it.
dude. I'm really excited. But here, I'm going to hop back in. Let's see.
Let's hop back into it.
I want to go. We're talking Some Love. We kind of ended on OB. Okay, so I want to talk about some other shows that we've done, dude.
Yeah.
Another show that we did that's kind of random, but we did a show in Albuquerque together.
Loved it. Probably my favorite show that I've ever done. Right above the Flo Rida Food Festival one, but I think Albuquerque is at the top of my list.
The energy was amazing, dude.
Amazing. That's why it's at the top of my list.
That's where the shirt is from, too, actually.
That's where this shirt is from. This is a one of what, like 15 shirt?
If that, I don't even know, dude.
When it gets to the point where, like, hopefully it doesn't, but if it gets too dirty, like, I think I might just frame it, put it up in my studio.
It's a classic shirt. And then shout out to homie Watsky, too.
Yes, I was going to say shout out Watsky, because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have, well, if it wasn't for you originally, but Watsky allowing me to be a part of, his tour, huge shout out to him. Great dude, made me feel comfortable right away.
He's a great example of a dude that just like very selfless and like is just always looking out for people too.
I could tell right away, especially like kind of seeing the behind the scenes of the setup and like how much his team was a team. Everybody there just
it's not always like that either, dude.
That's what I've heard. And that was kind of really my first experience being like a part of or on a tour. Not that I just made that one stop, but like just kind of seeing what goes into it. And again, like his team really felt like a team, and that was just an awesome experience. But we talking about how that came to be?
Well, yeah, let's talk about like, and even one of your like favorite memories from just Albuquerque in general.
Yeah, so I think we were just having a regular conversation about like our music stuff or maybe just catching up on some things, and you were telling me about the tour that you were going to go on with Watsky, and you were like, I think I might get, an open for one of the shows. I just don't know which one yet. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. Like, didn't think anything of it at the time. And then you got back to me and was like, yo, so I don't know if I told you, but Watsky, like, is going to let me open in Albuquerque. I was like, damn, that's dope. Like, what songs are you going to do? And you were like, definitely going to do, you know, Some Love. And I was like, damn, it'd be so dope if, like, I was out there performing it with you. And you were like, that would be dope. And I kind of was just like, should I? And you were like, would you? I was like, yeah, let me make it make sense. So, you know, maybe the camera doesn't, but big national park guy. Said the camera, like I'm talking to the people. Big national park guy. So I'm 21 out of the 63 in. And that was the first thing I did was like, what's around Albuquerque? Are there any parks around there? And there's 2 in New Mexico and then 2 in Texas. So I was like, all right, cool. I can make a trip out of this and set it off with like the Albuquerque Show. So once, you know, I made it happen and we put it all together, and it was, again, the best show that I've ever done. But I'm trying to think of like a specific memory from the show that stands out. I don't know. You got any that like between me and you?
I remember just it being like a very high energy crowd.
It was
like
amazing.
So responsive. Well, that was the big difference between Flo Rida and Albuquerque. And I think there were a lot of people that were responsive at Flo Rida.
It was just so many people there.
Yeah, that's another thing. But I think with Albuquerque, it was like everybody. You know what I mean? Like it was like wall to wall. Like you said, put your hands up. It was.
I tell people that to this day when I tell people that I did a show in Albuquerque, and, you know, I'm going out there and I don't think any person in that crowd knew me. Nobody knew who I was. But if I said, put your hands up, the hands went up. Make some noise. They're screaming, dude. And I also remember you telling me you had on the screen behind us, you said, like, make some noise for my homie.
Oh, I
do
that? That's mad funny. That easily is my best memory.
That's actually probably the memory. When you
funny.
told me after, because there was a time where they just, like, the crowd erupted, and I'm like,
silly for that, dude.
Do they know me? So, like, it made me feel like I was somebody already.
Let me tell the people this story.
Yeah.
I forgot I did that until this moment. So when I do a show, I'm a video guy. So visuals are a huge part of my set. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's important to me because it's just how I want, my show to go down.
I think it changes the game for sure.
So I think it was during Flame, I cut in text on the screen that there was a huge screen behind us. So, like, when I know exactly what I did. So, as the hook was coming in, I was like, there was like a text up on the screen. It was like, yo, the hook is about to come in. I need y'all to cheer when I say go. And it was like 3, 2, 1, go. And the crowd just roared.
Went nuts, dude.
Yeah.
And I was just like.
But it's hilarious, though, because, Doss had no idea, you know what I mean? So, like, he's just, like, doing the hook, and he's just like, yo, they love me.
I'm like, dude, like, I might move to Albuquerque because I might be famous here.
And I think they did love you, but obviously, like, the video just, like,
we crushed it. Well, I think you told me after that you said, make some noise for my homie Das. He doesn't know that this is up. In parentheses, I think you put, like, he doesn't know. Yeah. So that was probably more incentive for, like,
that's so
but, dude,
silly.
like, Watsky's fans were amazing, bro.
Yeah, they're like, so supportive. I mean, I've toured with him for years, so I've just seen,
Dude, that show, again, was awesome because of the end. I mean, I'm, like, at the end of the show, like, when our time was done, I think Camila and they went on, and then it was Watsky. But, like, I went out to the bar and, like, grabbed a drink. Like, I wanted to be a part of the crowd because I wanted to experience Watsky's show.
Yeah, he puts on an insane show. He does
put on an amazing show. And you told me that, and I'm like, I want to view this as, like, somebody in the crowd. Like, I want to be a viewer of this show. So I went out in the crowd, and, like, I grabbed a beer, of course. I grabbed a drink, whatever. But, like, I'm at the bar, and people are, like, showing mad love, asking me to take pictures. And I was like, dude, these people are awesome. Like, it was a really, really good experience, bro. I had so much fun in Albuquerque.
Yeah, I feel like we've had a ton of great experiences together. Now that, like, I'm reflecting on it, minus the Shmeat.
The Shmeat was the worst.
But another thing, like, one of our creative efforts that I absolutely love, because I don't do as many music videos as I once did.
I was going to say, it's Yay High.
It's Yay High, dude.
Yeah.
The Yay High music video that we did, and you guys can go watch this now. Basically, to break down the video, every single shot of the video is a different scenes. And that's what took us so long with doing it.
Yeah.
But because of it, it's a hilarious video.
It's a great video. It's the best video that I have absolutely. And all my boys who have seen my entire music journey say the same. That video is the one.
Yeah, I want to talk about some of the shots that we did. One shot that I'll give you like kudos on right away is that there's this shot where he throws the basketball backwards, and I was like, oh, I'll just edit it, and you're like, nah, dude.
It's not going to be the same. Like, I got to make this shot.
Yeah, and you did it like immediately,
Second try. I remember second try, and I remember.
And that was the take.
That was the take. I remember Squires was trying to hold his emotion to get the full shot in, and I was just, again, throwing it. I expected, like, I'm a shooter. So I expected, like, I'll get it in like 10 to 15. I'm throwing it backwards from 3 or maybe the foul line. Like, it wasn't a crazy shot, but I saw it in your face, and you were holding it in, and I was like, no way, I just made that. But I had to continue performing.
Yeah, dude.
So I did, and once we got through the line, you started going nuts, and I was like, no fucking way, I just made that on the second try. If you go watch it, though,
the thing is, it was like so perfect the way, because like, you got to understand with music video, these shots are quick. So you know what I mean? Like, the timing of it, like, needed to be like, you know what I mean? The timing on the shot was just perfect, where it's like the ball didn't like dwindle around in that area. Like, it was just done.
Yeah, no, it was, it was perfect. That was crazy, but that was a music video that, like, I'll never forget, dude.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think,
we
like,
had so much fun making that one.
Well, what did we do? The green screen shot outside of First Class?
First Class. I'm hanging off the fence for Everest. That was a good one.
Yeah.
We did a lot of green screen. What else? The laundromat. I mean, we hit like 7 locations in a matter of like 2-3 hours.
Bro, that's what I'm saying. And like that, it was an intense video just because it's like we shot, and it took a while to put it together just because scheduling and stuff. But we also were doing so much per day. You know what I mean? It's not like, there's a lot of, if we did a 1 location music video, would have been done, but
exactly.
I mean, there's got to be like 20 plus locations in that video.
There's so much, but it made the video. And once you kind of threw that idea at me, I was just like, oh yeah. I remember I started writing that script, and I would send, I shared the note with you, and that was history. But a fun scene was at the basketball court with my boys. Remember that scene?
Yeah, dude, like, where they're all hype and everything.
They're hype, and it looks great for the video, but if like they saw the behind the scenes and what we were, oh my God.
It was just like a bunch of dudes on a bleacher, and I just was like, yo, act excited.
Get hype.
Get hype. And like they're getting hype at like nothing really.
Nothing. I was going to say, like, people are walking around that park, driving by and stuff. They're probably like looking like, what's going on over here? Because it's just like me and you just standing there, and they're going nuts. Like, there's a game going on, and there's nobody on the court. I can't,
It was the same energy as if like someone had just won their sports game, but like there was no sports game happening at all.
Going on. Yeah, no, that was awesome. Laundromat scene is one of my favorites. I mentioned that. What other scenes were there?
I mean, there's the ice one.
The freezer one's good. Remember when we had Mike come in?
Yeah, and then every hook, it just becomes one more hand every time.
Yeah, my eyes are bloodshot red
Dude,
at the end.
Well, that's the thing. Well, you know what? And that goes back to just having fun, because I will say, like, I feel like we had a lot of fun making that video.
Dude, I had so much fun. I never had as much fun making a video. I did one on a national park trip, and my brother and my boy shot it, so that's like really cool for me to say. But yeah, dude, takes the cake, dude, easily.
It's just such a fun video, and like it's so important though too. Kind of looping everything together. It's like you really have to enjoy this, because I mean, you can't even put a video together like Yay High if you're not enjoying it, because it's just like, if you didn't have fun during that, it would have been so miserable.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
100%.
Because it's like it's a lot of work, but the only thing that makes the work worth it is that it's fun.
Yeah, and when we look back at it now, and we're like, dude, 20 different locations and all these different things, but like it never felt like that when we were recording it. Like every day that we did was just a good time for us. And when you turn me old, we can't overlook that one.
Bro,
when you turn me old,
one's crazy.
I look just like my pops.
Bro.
Dudes were like, how'd you get your dad in this video?
Dude, it's crazy, too. I'm going to talk nerd for a second, though. But the way that I did that is you have to bounce out every single frame of the video.
Yeah, I remember
you basically,
telling me that,
you apply an old man filter to like every 10.
Single one.
So it's every 10 frames. And then what happens is you put those 10 frames back in, and then it creates the frames that would be in between. It's like some real nerd shit.
Yeah,
but like,
you're a nerd. It's all good.
Yeah, but I like it's the stuff that I like to do.
But it's amazing.
Yeah,
I wish I knew that.
What I want to talk to you too about the Anoyd record, because you just dropped a record. Yeah. Connecticut rapper.
Yeah, man.
Insane lyricist.
Yeah.
Shout
out Anoyd.
Yeah,
I've been a fan of Anoyd, way before this record was even a thing. So I've I've been listening to him. Blame It on Jay-Z, crazy album of his. But I've been a fan of Anoyd, and I think he put up a story, right, where he said, I'm doing features till the end of the month. I think it was like right around the end of the year. You sent it to me, and I was like, I got to take advantage of the
Because I think we had talked about you doing a record with him.
I always said, like, yo, I want to get a record with Anoyd. Like, I feel like we can make something fire. And, yeah, you sent me his story, so I reached out, and he was very responsive. Made it easy for me. I cooked up the record. I had a studio session whatever day it was, and this was like a couple days after I spoke with Anoyd and saying, send something over, and, we'll go from there. So I had like 2 songs that were projects that I was like, all right, I got to finish these. I wanted to record them. I think I had just reference tracks, rough takes that I recorded myself. And I was like, I got to lay these down so that it sounds clean when I send it to him. I had 2, and I was just like, they're good, but I'm not in love with them. And I feel like I could do something better, especially for Anoyd. I finally might have an opportunity to do this record with a dude that I've been a fan of, and one of the biggest artists in CT, especially right now. And I'm like, I have to come correct, bro. I have to make Anoyd get in his bag. So I'm like, I got to cook something up. That morning, dude, I woke up like 8 a.m. I'm cooking breakfast. I literally searched on YouTube Anoyd type beat. I was like, I wonder if he has like his own Anoyd type beats. Searched it. First one that came up, I'm like, this is hitting. And I wrote my verse in like 30 minutes. And I made a couple corrections after. Like I kind of subbed some things in and out. But I made the verse and I was like, dude, this is it. I was like, I'm picturing Anoyd's verse. Like, I'm hearing Anoyd's verse. I'm like, this is going to be insane. So I sent it to him. I emailed it to him after I recorded it with Mike. I recorded it and sent it over to his email. 30 minutes later, he's like, yo, he was like, I think I called it Who Needs a Hook, because I didn't have a hook at that time. Yeah. He was like, I sent him two different ones, which one he liked. He said, yo, Who Needs a Hook is the one. And I was like, yes. Like, you know what I mean? I felt that way too, sending it. And now it's out. Go listen to it. It's not called Who Needs a Hook anymore. It's called What My Name Is. But go listen to that. And me and Anoyd absolutely spaz on that record.
Yeah, we also have a record coming out this Friday, but by the time this podcast is out, this will be out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you have a record coming out with the homie Wax. And your boy.
Yeah, and your boy, Squires, the Squires Squad. Yeah, I'm super excited about that one as well. Was very happy when I got the verse back, and Wax made it. I mean, how easy did he make the process?
Oh, yeah, like, dude. Wax is like, he actually was my first podcast that I ever did on the Mike Squires and Friends pod. He really kicked it off, too.
I remember I watched it. I remember watching it, the first one. I didn't realize it was the first one.
We've came a long way since that podcast.
Yeah. I mean, there's levels to this shit.
Yeah, little by little, but we had to start somewhere. And that was the podcast where I learned I say and yes and interrupt my guests too much. Like, I had to like really go in and edit that one. But after watching it, I just was like,
I probably have those moments. I feel like, everybody has those moments. I probably say, a lot, like, you know what I mean? Like, stuff like that. I think everybody has those moments, but it's cool for you to, like, pick up on it and then, like, try to adjust.
But
that's dope.
What I want, well, that's the thing. I think even just with anything you do, right?
Growth.
Like, and you should be studying, like, what you do, what you like, what you don't like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
like, especially if you're doing, like, live shows, too. Like, I took this from Watsky, but, like, he'll film his entire set and then watch it through just to see, like, what should be adjusted and whatnot. Like,
that's dope.
It's, like, a really good strategy to, like, because you're a consumer, too, and, like, you can kind of see what just helps you. It's almost like sports, you know what I mean? It's like watching back, like, plays and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you watch tape, the guys in the professional level, they watch tape, but I used to, have my swing taped and see what I was doing wrong, and if I was opening up too much so I definitely feel that. That's actually dope. I've never actually rehearsed for a show. I've, like, rehearsed in, like, my basement in the mirror, but I haven't really had, like, true rehearsal, and I'm excited to get that experience whenever it comes. But I feel like my performances can definitely get a lot better if I, like, executed something like that, like watching it back and being like, oh, I'm gonna take this, and then that's dope.
I want to. So, we talk about, like, earlier, like, expectations and, like, records doing, like, certain things.
Yeah.
My expectation, and I'll put it out there, and I think I'm right on it. Like, I want to look back, but I'm making the claim before.
Before it happens.
But my expectation for the Wax record It's going to be, I'm telling you this right now.
Put it out there. I know what you're going to say because we've talked about it.
It's going to be your first record to hit 100,000.
I hope so, man.
I almost guarantee it.
I've been working hard for it.
I know. And
look at the day. Yeah, do it.
First record to 100,000. I'm not putting a time frame on this, but it will hit 100,000 for sure. And I'm gonna be mad hyped when that happens, dude.
I'm gonna be hyped too. And I gotta give Wax a love again. I feel like we kind of like went off to the side. I gotta give Wax a love because he's the man. He's again like made it so easy, and he's a legend too.
He's an incredible artist. I want to have him back on too because when I had him on, he was about to become a dad, and now he is a dad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like I want to. You pre-imposed dad him.
I think you should definitely have him back on. But I'm excited to drop this with him, and again, he's been interactive, he's been supportive, so hopefully we can get, some content with him. That would be dope.
That's the goal for today,
yeah. Yeah, we're going to do that today. But 100K, it's going to be my first one. Shout out to Wax, shout out to Squires. I don't know if I've watched a ton of your podcasts, and I know you get your praise, but I'm going to throw you some flowers here because you've made a lot happen for me. So I appreciate that. We're going to get sentimental. Where's the tissues here? Nah. But you've made a lot happen for me, and you're also a big inspiration of mine. I know you have people on that, like, you've went on tour with, and, like, Watsky, and, like, like, maybe those people have given you a lot of game, but you do that for me. So definitely shout out to Squires, one of my favorite people ever, especially in music, dude. You are a real one, and you're very selfless as well. I know we talked about Watsky being selfless, but I feel the same from you. And it's always been real and genuine energy. So I just want to thank you for having me here and for helping me for as long as I've been doing this. You've definitely been a huge help and an inspiration. So shout out to you, bro.
Brother.
Yeah.
Thank you, dude.
I had to throw that in there.
Yeah, and I want to talk on that actually a little bit. Not just like me specifically doing this for people, but just doing things.
Now you're
like,
turning it selfish.
No.
No, I'm joking.
No, I want to talk about just like doing things for other, because I like doing things for other people, and that's something I definitely took from Watsky too. Like, and I think it's important to do things for other people, and I'm not talking specifically me. Like, it could be anybody, because. And doing things without expecting anything in return.
Yes.
Like, I think that's just how you have to carry yourself too, because one, it's just that's how my mom raised me. It's the right thing to do.
I feel the same way.
Two, it's just like, I think when you're doing like, I know that you got my back always. You know what I mean? Like, I know that, if I was going through a tough time, I could call up Dawson and be like, yo, that's my boy. And like, no, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's good just to like, not saying that's the reason to do it, but I'm just saying, like, when you treat people good, you're going to get that respect back, and it's going to be all love, and you're not going to have to worry about, like, a tit for tat kind of thing, which I see people, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, even with me, like, I've seen, like, people have done, like, a favor for me, but it wasn't really a favor, because then I'm like, they're asking me for a million things, and I'm like, dog, like, if I knew it was going to be like this, you know what I mean? Like, I would have handled it differently.
100%. I've been in that situation many times, where like, you do something and then you're like, wait, now you trying to hold this, throw it in my face, hold it above me, like things like that is weird to me. But like you said, you do things without expectations in return, and that's like a great quality about you. Your mom raised you that way. I feel the same way. I'm always, if I have the opportunity to, I'm gonna lend a helping hand. And it's good to grow those relationships, and you don't do it for, oh, yo, I did this, now you owe me, and back and forth. It's just, again, building a genuine relationship, and then things happen easier that way. When things do need to get done, it's an easy conversation, you know what I mean? Or it's like, bro, I'm definitely going to do this for, for example, me, I'm definitely going to do this for Squires. If I can help, you know what I'm saying? I'll drop what I need to do if you needed, help. And I'm glad that you said that, you can, you feel comfortable enough to like, yo, I know if I'm going through something, like I could depend on that, because that's how I want to come off, and that's how I want to build my relationships, especially ones that, are close. Like I consider a close friend. Like, you're somebody I consider a close friend. And there's other relationships where you kind of have to take a step back, you know what I mean? Or like, maybe not put so much energy into it, but like the ones that I know are genuine and real, that's how I want to be viewed on the other side, the way that you said. So I'm glad.
Yeah,
I'll
put this out there too. Like, you know, I've had a lot of guests on, and I do talk to a lot of the guests that I have on, but you're probably one of the guests that I talk to the most. You know what I mean? We're talking
daily.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So we talk all the time. And it's really a conversation we had the other night too that I was like, you know,
sparked you being like, yo, come on this podcast.
Yeah, because I really, and you're going to come back on because I really, in my head, I was like, let's get Doss on when he has his album coming out. You know what I mean? Because I want to align.
Which is the first announcement. There might be an album on the way.
Yeah.
And if you made it this far in a podcast, there might be an album on the way this year.
Was that okay that I said that?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Hell yeah.
Well, so I wanted to have you on then, but then I was like, yo, we just have so many good conversations. I was like, we'll have more to talk about then too.
Exactly. Yeah, no, for sure. And yeah, we do speak daily. A lot of it's on music, and then a lot of it's just, you know, some personal stuff. But
yeah, to kind of wrap up the thought too of just, you know, people, it's just people helping people. My dad always said that. Like, he's always like, you know, just help wherever you can. But for me personally, it's so rewarding. Like, and it's always been like this for me. It's mad rewarding. Like,
oh yeah,
you know, when I bring to, like, especially when you're have something going on, like Flo Rida was a big moment for me, obviously, but it was even doper that I was able to share it with everybody. You know what I mean? Because Flo Rida's like, it's a cool thing and all, but to be able to share, like, I wouldn't be talking about it as much if it was just me. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but because all the like, what I'm saying is if you get to a point in your career where you're able to, and it doesn't have to, like, you don't need to be a fucking superstar. You know what I mean? Just like wherever you can. But if you get to a point in your career where you're able to, like, you know, share love to the circle, like, it's, you win when your whole team wins. That's the way I look at it. You know what I mean? I look at it like when my circle is like elevated all the way up, then I'm like, okay, now we really got something going. Like, you know, and you know, you just got to be happy for people when they have their wins too. You know what I mean? It's got to be like a, we all got to come up, dude.
I mean, think about the line I said in Yay High, and I meant it at that specific time. Man, the whole team's on a mission, and if one of us is winning, then we all feel the same. You know
that's
what I mean?
Exactly
and that's
what
that's really how I feel. You know what I mean? I had a bunch of boys chasing different things. I'm seeing them level up. Same thing with you, looking into the camera and saying, I'm putting it here now. This is going to be your first record to 100K, and you saying that you're hyped. And we've had this conversation. You're like, I'm going to be so hyped if that happens for you. And, like, that means a lot to me, but that just shows the person that you are. You know what I mean? And I'm the same way in terms of lending that helping hand any chance that I can. I do it out of, you know what I'm saying, the pure goodness, you know what I'm saying, that I feel internally. You know what I mean? If I feel like this is a good thing to do, then I'm going to do it. And sometimes it bites you in the ass, but I had good intentions. You know what I mean? And
that's huge.
I had good intentions, and sometimes you can't control the outcomes. I had to learn that, especially going through my mental health journey. I had to learn that there's things out of your control, bro. You cannot control everything. And once I started to let go some of the things that were out of my control and just, you know, accept the fact that that's how it has to be, then I stopped stressing a lot. But yeah, I do it with good intentions, and I can live with that. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, if I'm doing something, and it is rewarding. It's super rewarding. Like when I've helped somebody or, you know, thrown a verse to somebody that ends up being one of their favorite songs, or maybe they're one of their best performing, like saying that with You've Done With Me, you know, Flame and Some Love, like those. And now hopefully the Wax record beats both of them.
Oh, it is.
Know?
I'm putting it out there again.
Yeah. So like it's rewarding for sure, like you said. So it's just, you know, the circle.
You talked about, I want to start pulling this to the end zone, but you talked about intentions, and, you know, that's kind of how I look at everything too now, where it's like, because things go wrong all the time, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, there are two ways, like, one, did this person like do this maliciously, or did they actually have good intentions and it just didn't play out how you thought it might?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And like, that's given me a very good perspective in, like, you know, like, you don't want to jump the gun in situations and just assume, because
I know
there's so much that can happen. There's so many variables, like, and you don't know what someone else is going through, right?
100%.
You know,
it is hard not to jump the gun sometimes, but the more you go through that, the more you can learn from your experiences, and just kind of, you know, dial it back a little bit, maybe, not act, you know, in the emotions that you're in now, kind of see it through, like you said. So yeah, the intentions are huge.
Yeah. And I think it also ends up being a testament to, like, who that person is too, because, like, you could have good intentions, but if you mess up too, like, For me personally, I'd rather, like, you just got to come to me and just be like, at least a line of communication too, where it's like
huge on the
communicate. Like we can save it for the next. We can save it for the next one, dude. But we could have a whole conversation about communication, dude.
Listen, it's stressing me out thinking about it now because there are so many situations where I think communication could have solved so much, and just being open and honest. And another thing, back to like growing those relationships, like we've grown, a relationship to the point where you can come talk to me. You should feel comfortable coming and talk to me. And the fact that you don't, now I have to reevaluate, you know what I mean? Or the fact that you couldn't, I have to reevaluate. And man, communication is huge in a lot of things, dude, a lot of things.
If you had some advice for an artist on the rise right now, what would you tell them?
Man, I don't want to give like a basic answer because I feel like I think about this all the time.
Yeah.
But believe in your capabilities and control what you can. Things that you can control is like the energy you put in, the work that you put in, the way you react, view. I think there was something that one of my coaches told me, and I don't want to botch it, but he said there's 3 things that we can control. It's our attitude, energy, and effort. And that stuck with me, and I brought that outside of baseball. But, like, something like that, again, there's things out of your control, and shit goes wrong all the time. Like you said, you're going to catch a lot of L's, but, again, your attitude can change that. You can keep moving forward with, a mindset of, like, it's all right, I'm going to learn from this, and I'm going to level up from this. You know what I mean? The energy that you put in, and then, your effort, too. So I would say believe in your capabilities because there's definitely a time, at least I can say for me, I'm sure many other artists, where you get that doubt, dude. You get that doubt, and you may not believe that what you see and what you envision can actually be obtainable, So I think the biggest thing is, I'm gonna use one of your quotes, is believe before the world does, dude. I love that quote.
Dude. Yeah.
I love that quote, and like it's true. It's true because I had friends that used to be like, yo, stop singing. Like not stop singing in terms of like I would just be singing in the car and be like, dude, you can't sing. Like stop trying to like make this sound good. Now they'll listen to all my singing shit. And it's like a really close friend of mine that I remember one day he was like, yo, stop singing. You can't sing, bro. Like I was just singing along. Like I had the aux in and I was probably playing some Drizzy. And I was singing and like, dude, you can't sing, bro. Stop. And now my singing ones are his favorite ones. But like, it's an example like that where it's just like, I thought I could sing. You know what I mean? And now, look where I'm at. So,
I mean, people will always doubt. And that's like something that everyone listening can take away is like when you're starting something new, don't expect everyone to be like, go get them, you got it. You know what I mean?
Oh,
you're gonna feel the like the hesitation,
Yeah. And I don't like, my advice would be to like, obviously I didn't mean it in terms of like try to ignore doubters, but don't doubt yourself when you feel you're capable, because I knew that I had that, I had where I'm at now. I knew that I had that. I still think, I have a long way to go, and I see myself, much bigger than I am now. But there was a point in time where I saw myself where I was now, and I believed. And there were people that didn't, but I still believed in myself. But along the way, you know what I'm saying? I had my doubts. I had my questions. Is this really worth it? Is this really what I want to do? Am I capable of doing this? But again, that belief always came back. So, an artist coming up now, like if you started this for a reason, right? You started doing this for a reason, hopefully for the good reasons. But, if you love it, if you love this and you believe that you're capable of something, go do that shit. You are capable. You are capable. Make that shit happen.
Let's go, dude. And what's next for you?
Ooh, the album, hopefully. 100K song.
Let's go.
I'm not even gonna say hopefully. I gotta,
this
is where
like,
you change the vocab and bring it in, speak it into existence.
Oh, I'm very confident.
Manifestation.
Like, I've already said it. Like I didn't even go back. Like I'm telling you, I'm so confident that it's gonna happen.
You have said that many times.
Yeah, like to me, it was like in my head as someone who's been in music, that song was manufactured perfectly to do what it was supposed to do.
Yeah, let's see.
And it's not even out yet, but by the time it's crazy because we're talking about this in future tense. So it's like by the time this is out, they'll be able to go see kind of where it's at.
Yeah. Now go listen to it.
Yeah, go listen to it.
It's out.
But yeah, what's next? I didn't mean to interrupt.
So yeah, I want to do an album. I want to get more comfortable on stage, so maybe that does play into like actually doing some rehearsals, even if I don't have any shows or anything booked. But like, you know, finding some comfort in, you know, the performances, because there's definitely times where I still, you know, find discomfort there, and I'm hesitant. But I just want to drop a lot of music, and I feel like I have the setup and the team, I guess I could say, and the people supporting me around me to do so. It's just sometimes life gets in the way, and, you know, I have 2 jobs outside of the music, so it is tough. I don't want to make an excuse, because I shouldn't, because if I want this, you know what I'm saying, you got to make that shit happen again. But I want to get to a point where I'm dropping like every other week for a little while and really build the catalog. I know we've had this conversation too.
It's
building
is so important.
Catalog's huge, and I've been one to just really work on like a record that I'm like, oh, this is a hit, and like, you know, put that out and just, you know, just do all the content and do all the marketing around that one, as opposed to like, you know, just keep dropping stuff. Like people are gonna hear, and, you know, they're gonna gravitate towards it. So I think the album, and then after the album, drop a lot. That's what I want to do. And I have some stuff in the vault that's probably going to make the album, but I probably have stuff that's not going to make the album. So I may have drops after, may have drops before, but what's next is, yeah, hopefully the level up, man. Hopefully you guys can see another level of Das. I'm really excited for new listeners, because I've changed my sound a little bit. And I think I'm still evolving, but some of these new records I love, and that's like a direction that I want to stay. So I think
there's a lot that people will take away from this podcast. I think there's a lot of good gems. Outside of my military flashbacks of the Shmeat and making the listeners uncomfortable during that story.
Yeah, dude.
But outside of that, like, I don't know, I think people are going to take a lot away from this too. And I appreciate you, like, you know, talking, like, you know, being vulnerable and talking about your anxiety and stuff like that. Because I know for a lot of people, it's not easy to talk about.
It's not easy, but anxiety and dealing with what I was became easier when I talked about it. And again, everybody goes through it differently, but I'm more than happy. And I don't want to call myself like an advocate, but if I ever get in a position to, you know, help in any way, and I have helped, you know, behind the scenes, you know, like donations and stuff. I've like, you know, if I ran like a, you know, marathon or a half marathon or something, like, you know, when I do other things like charitable organizations, like I want to help with that, because I've been through it, and not as bad as everybody else, but like I understand. And, I think opening up and hearing that other people have gone through some of the same things you have definitely helped me. So that's why I'm very open to talking about it. I have no problem. So, yeah, for sure.
If people want to connect with you, where can they find you, dude?
At Real Das everywhere, pretty much. Definitely Instagram and TikTok I'm heavy on, even though, you know, the TikTok is, we'll save it for a different day, private combo. Stressing me out, that TikTok app, but yeah, Real Das on everything. Das on YouTube, not really on Twitter, but I think it's Real Das there too. And you can find me at the bar if you need a drink too.
Let's go, dude.
Throw some tips my way and put it back into the music. You might get some fire. Yeah.
All right, dude. Well, I appreciate you coming on, dude.
Appreciate you. Much love. I like the hoodie too, by the way.
Oh yeah, guys.
Nice hoodie.
Make sure, are they available? People can go get them right now?
They sold out, and
that's a better problem. You can't get this is exclusive.
Yeah, I actually have like 2 larges left.
They're gone though by the time this pod comes out.
Probably. But that was exclusive to the show that we did together in the mall, the sample tape.
Which we didn't even talk about next time, dude.
Next time. We got a lot to talk about. But yeah, I got some more merch on the way too. That's also a what's next, but it's a nice hoodie.
It is a nice hoodie. The first time I wore a hoodie, first time I didn't wear a windbreaker in a podcast.
I was going to say that when I told you. I was like, yo, I'm wearing my Squire Squad shirt. Like,
I had
should
to
I
do
bring
it.
the Das hoodie?
I want to be supportive. Like, if people come on the pod and they bring me one of their merch items, I'll rock their merch 100%.
Item. That's what I did with this. Remember,
that's what I'm saying. I
had a whole fit. No, actually, I wore my full circle because that was when my boy was just coming out with his brand. I wore that on stage. But then I've had this on for the rest of the show because I was like, dude, I have to rock this.
Dude.
I'm the same way, supportive, but
hell yeah, dude.
The hoodie looks good on you, dude.
Honestly, it's a good color on me.
Yeah,
it's a good color. I was like,
it fits.
It really brought me together for today. But Hell yeah,
All right.
man. I appreciate you coming on, dude.
Much love.
I want to share with you guys my thought of the day. And my thought of the day is this. If you're going through something, you don't have to do it alone. Sometimes when you're going through a tough time, it is hard to share it with somebody. But you might feel better if you do. And you got to believe before the world does.